All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Next Mission. My name is Seth, and I'm one of your course instructors, specifically in the space of storytelling and narrative. I'm going to be introducing a lot of the concepts that you'll be exploring in this course, including today when I'm going to introduce the power of narrative. So why storytelling? We tell stories because we humans define ourselves by the stories we tell. That is, the stories we tell ourselves, or the stories told to us about ourselves, and even the stories we tell one another. These stories, based on events either real or imagined, factual or fictional, interpreted and reinterpreted, told and retold either verbatim or with revision, create the core of our personal identity and our connection to our culture. It's something that's true across every culture, around the world, and even within the different militaries of the world. And that's something really cool to think about, that the stories from your time in service that connect you to humanity are the same types of stories that German pilots in World War I, British sailors fighting Napoleon, and even the ancient Spartans at the Gates of Fire used to connect to their humanity. While the locations, the politics, the weapons all change, the service members stay the same. In other words, you and an ancient samurai warlord have the same brain, and that's the coolest thing you're going to hear all day.
Hello again, Dr. Ely here, welcoming you to our very first physiology module on this course on stress, resilience, and post-traumatic growth. Trauma, and even stress in general, has a large impact on the brain. It actually changes the way our brains work. The wiring of the neurons changes, the number of receptors change, and even the levels of communication between the different parts of the brain change. The stress of combat can cause increases in anxiety levels and decreases in social behavior. Often, these changes are made so that we can maximize our ability to fight and survive on the battlefield. But these traits may not be the most suitable for civilian life. These changes are adaptations, and adaptations do not necessarily have to be permanent. Although it was once thought that changes to our brains were irreversible, researchers have now found extensive evidence to show that rewiring and repair can occur. But what's even more exciting is that we can incorporate these past experiences into our current selves, leading to what we call post-traumatic growth.
Welcome to Women Warriors, a course in post-traumatic growth. We're so glad you're here. My name is Christine Garcia, and I'm a clinical psychologist. One of my specialties is working with people, women especially, who experience stress and trauma, and helping them to heal and grow stronger from difficult life experiences. Throughout this course, I'll be speaking with you about how the brain, mind, body, and spirit respond to stress and trauma, as well as what you can do to increase your resilience and achieve your goals. One of these ways is through stories. Not just any story, but your stories.
So my name's Lydia Davey, and I served as a Marine for 8 years. I deployed to Afghanistan in 2006, and I've worked extensively throughout Africa, Asia, and Europe as a combat correspondent and Marine Corps press chief. So the Marine Corps is 94% male. And I have a real appreciation for the unique challenges that we face as military women. So when I was 19 years old, I enlisted in the Marine Corps and headed off to boot camp at Parris Island, South Carolina. And almost immediately, I began viewing the fact that I was a woman as a liability. During my first week in MOS school, I was sexually assaulted by my squad leader. And at that point, I really started rejecting who I was as a feminine being and started to ape male behavior in a bid for acceptance, safety, and respect. During the next few years, I picked up a lot of traits that were super helpful to me as a Marine, but were devastating to me in my personal life. I lacked empathy for myself and others. I was in constant conflict with the people who were close to me. And when I imagined a future, I saw myself married and divorced. I couldn't imagine being tolerant enough to stay in an unhappy situation. And in my mind, relationships were so much more closely associated with pain than they were with happiness or wellness. So I grew very frustrated with who I had become. But I wasn't willing to let those negative traits go because I saw a lot of value in them. Anger protected me. Decisiveness could save my life. Controlling other people meant that the job would get done, the mission would get completed. So at the time I completed my first enlistment, I had a really small toolbox with which to handle life. And I do believe that there's a time and a place for many of the things I learned in the Marine Corps. I do not, reject that experience wholesale. But who I was as a young Marine is no longer my primary mode of being. I've added significantly to my toolbox over time and really dedicated myself to growth. And in the process, I've eliminated angst, built healthy relationships, and found a peace and resilience I didn't think was possible for someone like me. I'm here to tell you that change is possible. People do it all the time. So maybe you're just starting your journey to post-traumatic growth and you realize there's an opportunity for you to add some tools to your toolbox. That's awesome. Maybe you're coming to this course from a really healthy place and you're just looking for tools that you can use to build on the progress you've already made, or maybe to help someone else out. And that's awesome too. Together, during the next 8 weeks, we're going to pick up some new tools. We'll learn how to use them to create wellness, to view the past through a new lens, and to start rewriting the story of your future.